Hi everyone, Aldbar here. This is my solo walkthrough and guide to the level 17 heroic quest, Soul Survivor, on the Elite difficulty. Enjoy. Hi everyone, Warjack here. This is one of the quests in the Soul Splitter Adventure Pack. You'll notice that this video is quite long, and that's because I'll be doing all the optionals and showing all of the text dialogues, etc. If you want, you'll be able to just skip ahead to the timestamps, but that's not my problem, that's Aldbar's problem. Yeah, thanks a lot to Axel for setting a higher standard on DDO videos on YouTube.
The ship sways rhythmically as you enter the captain's cabin. It appears to be a normal Lyrindar warship, but you have it on good authority that the ship, and its House Lyrindar captain, somehow conceal Fathom's base. The soulless Worforged nods mechanically. Doris could always handle herself, but you aren't sure how helpful she'll be without her soul and her wits about her.
When you talk to the captain, if you fail one of these checks, you'll have to fight the captain and 4 water elementals, and it can be pretty tough. Or you can succeed and you'll get the hint.
The captain gestures toward the cabin's washroom. Pulling the lever hidden inside should reveal the entrance to Fathom's headquarters. This note describes how someone named Dr. Volcana recruited a sorcerer into Fathom, then transplanted her soul into the stolen body of Captain Lauren de Lyrindar. That explains how Fathom was able to get their hands on one of Lyrindar's warships.
This is very easy to miss, the secret lever.
Turning the faucet results in a creaking noise from out in the hallway. The water drains from the cabin's aquarium, and a glass panel slides down, revealing an elevator shaft leading down.
This Call Doris switch basically makes it so Doris will respawn at the entrance of the dungeon. So if she ever gets lost, you can always come back to here and pick her up. You need her for a quest objective to be next to you, so that's why it's there, just in case she gets lost.
The elevator door clangs shut, and you're propelled down, down below the murky waters of the harbor. But before long, your view clears, and you see it jutting up from the riverbed. Fathom headquarters. You find yourself in a well-appointed lobby. As you exit the elevator, you hear an authoritative voice. The illusion trills.
Attention, Fathom personnel. The central laboratory is closed while I work on my newest creation. My assistant will handle any complaints. I shall not be disturbed.
Okay, now let's explain what's going on. This is where we came down from the ship. Okay, as you can see, this whole map is open, and you can see on the map all the different locations. This is the central laboratory. This is where we need to go at the end, but there's a door that's blocked and we can't get past it. So to get past, we're gonna end up going down, and from this room there's a secret entrance that goes down to a secret lab where you can go through and end up over there. So really we just need to go to the secret lab, but it's protected by a code, and we need to go get the code so we can go underground and end up in the central laboratory. So how do you get the code? Well, the code is held by the assistant. The assistant's office is over here, and we don't know where the assistant is right now. He might be in any one of the rooms. So how do we find out where the assistant is? This note on the wall tells us the day of the week. Well, Zor in this case. And now we're going to go to the assistant's lab, and on the note over there, here's the assistant's lab, there'll be a note that will tell us where he is on each day of the week. So we know the day is Zor, and we're going to go from there, and we'll know where to go to the assistant, find the assistant and get the code. So basically we know I need to go to this room over here. That's where the assistant is. So if you know all the things by heart, you can just run straight and get the assistant and run downstairs. But for now, I'm going to go through all the rooms also.
As you exit the lobby, alarms sound and patrolling Worforged guards snap into action.
Intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. Sending security to apprehend the suspect.
As I mentioned before, there should be timestamps in this video, and if you just want to go see the different places, you can. But the gist of doing this quest is you need to see what day of week it is. Then you go to the assistant's lab and see where he is based on the day. Then you go and find the assistant and beat the code out of him. And then you can go down to the secret lab. You don't have to visit all the other rooms, or you can just memorize the different days and the different locations and run straight to the assistant without even ever going to the assistant's lab.
Intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. Sending security to apprehend the suspect.
I'll of course be showing out all the different optionals, like where you can turn off the alarm and also where you can get the different notes. Also a moment of appreciation, we're underwater. If I would have been a game designer, I'd probably added some more lights outside so you could better see that it's outside, because it's kind of dark and just looks like a dark tunnel. You don't really notice you're underwater.
Intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. Sending security to apprehend the suspect.
You burst through the library doors, but the room is silent and empty. Stacks of well-worn books and magical manuscripts line the walls.
There's an optional note at one of the bottoms of these shelves. So basically go around the room, one of them has the note. Also, we keep on getting the alarm with the intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. We'll be going to turn that off soon and get some peace and quiet. Also, as long as the alarm is active, these sentinels will keep on spawning endlessly. Anyway, so we went over here just to the library to pick up that note, and now we're going to go to the assistant's lab.
Intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. Sending security to apprehend the suspect.
You open the door to the assistant's office. He isn't here, but perhaps something in the room can give you a clue to his location.
Here we arrive in the assistant's lab. The assistant is not here. And the only reason we're coming here is so we can get the note that will tell us where he is. Again, he's fixed in a location based on the different day of the week, so as long as you look at the note of the day of the week, you can go directly to the room. If you can tell, if you know it by heart. But over here, there's actually only 4 different options, the ones that are in yellow highlighted. So we know that Zor he's in the Galley, so that's where we're gonna go. Here's the Galley, so basically I'll run in, I would see that it says Zor. I could just run straight to the galley, get the code out of him, and run downstairs. So if anybody just wants to do a short version of this quest, it's really not that long. You don't have to walk around in all the rooms and look for him. He's 1 in 4 fixed locations, based on that note, the first room. So people trying to speed this, it's not a problem.
Intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. Sending security to apprehend the suspect. Intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. Sending security to apprehend the suspect.
We're almost at the place where you deactivate this annoying alarm, but I don't want to have to backtrack and clean out some of these rooms, so sorry, I'm going to take a minute and go clean it out first. Nice room to live in. Underground view. Sorry, underwater view. Maybe I wouldn't want to be so cramped though. Also, these bathrooms have little rest shrines and the resurrection shrines for the toilet paper rolls. Speaking of which, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, we're almost there. Luckily for us, the galley is right across from where you activate this annoying alarm. So we're going to get the alarm first and get it to shut up, and then we'll move on. For some reason, when I play this with the groups, nobody ever deactivates the alarm, even though it's the easiest thing in the world. Everybody seems to just run around till eventually somebody accidentally finds the lab assistant and then they move on, rather than just running, reading the note, and going directly to the objective.
Intruder detected in Fathom headquarters. Sending security to apprehend the suspect.
Well, I guess if you're watching this video, you'll know. Fine. This is where we're going to deactivate the alarm.
This room is filled with a variety of levers and control panels. You're certain that configuring the mechanism in the right way will disable that pesky alarm system.
Okay, as you can see, there's 3 different switches, and there's a red crystal in the middle. Right now, that central switch is locked. Now there's 1 white and 2 red. So let's look at the switches and their direction. 1 second. Good. You can see 2 of them are facing us. That should give you the hint that the ones that are facing us are the ones that are red, and the one that's facing away from us is the one that's white. So let's get all of them to be white. That one's the white, these 2 are red. Here, let's pull this one. Now you can see the crystal turned white. And pulling the other one, also turned it white. Basically, just make sure all of them face away from you. It's very simple. Now that unlocks this lever.
Pulling the final lever triggers a message from the base's alarm system.
Disabling Security Guardian Protocol. Recalling all Shield Guardian patrols.
This does two things for us. It shuts up that annoying system, and also gets rid of all the sentinels who were already in the hallway. So any sentinel in the hallway disappears.
The lab assistant mumbles to himself in the back of the room. He looks up, exasperated when you approach.
You can get ready to fight, and we need to talk to this lab assistant and beat the code out of him. He's going to give us access to downstairs, to the secret lab, so we can tunnel our way into the central laboratory. Laboratory, or whatever.
Hilke throws up his hands in surrender. Maybe now the alchemist will be willing to share what he knows about Fathom's head scientist.
At a certain point he'll give up and he'll give you the access code to the laboratory. It's 02492. This is always the same code.
Hilke tells you that the abandoned experiments wing has an underground elevator that leads into the central laboratory. However, he warns you to be on your guard. A dangerous, twisted inventor uses the wing as his personal playground.
At this point, we can technically just head down and that's it. But we're going to go and clear out all the rest of the rooms. But you can skip ahead if you don't care about all the rest. There is some more notes. I'll be showing out the locations of them. And, well, just the rest of the layout of the quest and a few other different little cute things.
You wander into the cluttered chamber that Dr. Volcana uses as both her office and living quarters. A group of alchemists look up from their experiments when you enter the room, but they just as quickly turn back to their work, seemingly unconcerned by your intrusion.
This is kind of a pacifist room. You don't have to fight. Just don't touch their pets. Okay, at this point we're almost finished clearing out all the hallways. Just got a few more to go. Fine, here we're already very close to the central laboratory entrance. Well, the main gate. Also, yeah, this quest is pretty long. In fact, I need a rebuff already. Well, that means 19 minutes have passed. Yikes. Here I'm going to approach the door.
You try the door to the central laboratory. It's locked as expected. A voice speaks from within the room.
Is that my intruder? I can hear the alarms.
Don't worry, you'll get to meet her soon. My newest creation.
I'm sure you'll love her as much as I do. She's a true work of art.
This hallway will just lead back to the passageway we already passed before. So I'm going to go back to the way I was going before. Continue on my path. Well, as you noticed over there, the central lab door is like red and it's locked. We're going to end up later being on the other side of that door. After we go through the underground secret lab, we're going to end up over there. Here we can go directly to the end. Again, I'm gonna just go and clear out the last few hallways and rooms. As you can see, this takes us to the end. Or rather, it will take us to the underground lab. The secret lab.
The workshop is littered with Worforged, inert and in pieces. Fathom employees tinker with them, quietly recording their observations.
All these notes tell a very interesting story. If you want, you can read it. I've tried to do my best so you can pause it and see all the text. The monsters in these hallways don't respawn. It's only the sentinels who keep on respawning as long as you can turn off the alarm. Each one of these rooms, wherever there's that platform, it would spawn a sentinel. I don't know why you need so many guards protecting a bathroom, but hey. Again, this is just a copy-paste of the layout of the other bathroom. Again, with the rest shrines and the resurrection shrines, both being set as the toilet paper rolls. Speaking of which, if you're enjoying this video, please hit like and subscribe. I know it's a bit long, but I hope you're enjoying it at least, and just going along with the ride. Thanks. At this point, we've basically completed the entire ring. We've gone around through all the different rooms, all the different passageways, and we've cleaned out the whole top floor. Oh, sorry, this whole floor, and we should be right now back to the entrance. This is where we came down, and we can just go directly to the elevator down to the secret lab. This quest has only 2 chests, and one of them is a optional secret chest behind this secret door. This is right across from the lab, the hidden lab. So right before you go downstairs, you pick up this chest. Luckily it's not locked, so you should be able to find the door without any problems.
While this room seems to be used for storage now, some remaining furniture suggests it might have been the main reception area for the facility. A locked door at the back wall is labeled Abandoned Experiments Wing.
We're going to access now this elevator, and this is going to send us underground, and we should be able to go and come up to the secret lab. So you got these holograms you can look at. Okay, now you might be wondering about the code on the door. We picked it up before. Why can't I just come here and put the code in if I know it by heart? As I mentioned before, the code is fixed. The reason is, before you've talked to the lab assistant, it doesn't show up on the list. That means this code, 02492, does not show up on the list. Okay, here's the underground lab. I've pre-opened it so you can see it like soft. We need to get to that little dot on the map. That's where we're gonna pop up. But first we're gonna have to go to the end straight, and then we're gonna take the underground passageway. Then we'll walk up and go to the top floor, and then we can go out to the exit. Now also on this map there's an optional to the right, and there's a few little side rooms and stuff. We're gonna pick them all up. But this first place to the right you don't need to go to. All we need to go, if you're doing this just as fast as possible, just go straight all the way to the end, then left.
Headquarters. The rooms down here branch off from a single narrow hallway.
You'll notice as you're going that some doors pop open. Some of them are hints as to the direction you're supposed to go. Not always, but some of them are. Over here there's a trap in the hallway. As far as I can tell, you can't disable it. Well, I wasn't able to find the trap box, but you can boost your way past it. Just be aware that it's still active. You can still get smashed by it.
You hear a cacophony of barks and whines from the cages that line the room. A panicked voice calls to you from the distance.
There's a few bear traps over here on the floor, so if you can't disable traps, just be aware of them. You don't want to step in them. Get stuck. Note that this area is optional, you don't have to come here.
The animal handler grunts and collapses to the dirty kennel floor.
Yeah, that's it. Small boss fight, nothing special. Alright, let's get back on track. You just come here and go to the end. We've got these like little offshoots you can go down.
You find a cramped and barren room, furnished with only a bed and a desk.
Here I'm only coming in because I want this note. This room you have to fight if you want to get past. There's no way to get out without killing all the stuff first. First you have to kill a wave of trash and then you get this ooze boss. Killing him will open up the way out. Yep, that's what opens the way. Okay, as you can see the door to the left opened, and yes, that's the way you want to go. We go here, and first we're going to go downstairs. Okay, you can see over here on the map, this path goes underneath the other path. That's the way we want to go first.
You find a room marked Failed Experiment A. Inside, piles of inert Worforged, tanks of humans, and other curiosities fill the room. A somewhat battered Vaunt prototype is positioned against the back wall.
Okay, before you get started, you have to click on the prototype soul splitter to get this thing activated. Now there's 3 different colors over here, blue, red, and yellow. Red is a trap. It just mixes all tiles up. Blue sucks the life out of things, and yellow puts the life into them.
The device appears quite old. Perhaps it's one of Fathom's first attempts at creating a soul splitter. Reversing the power flow to the machine should allow you to release the last soul trapped inside.
This container has a soul inside of it, and we want to put the soul it has inside into something else. So, the way I remember the blue and yellow is like this. Blue is kind of like somebody being choked out and getting the life snuffed out of him because, you know, somebody can't breathe, he turns blue. So that's the way I remember blue, and yellow is kind of like sunshine and light and warmth coming down. So, and it was a bit grim and yeah, whatever. That's the way I remember it. So blue is taking the life out of something, and yellow is putting the life into it. In this case, we have a soul inside of this container. Once we've clicked on the container, we can now do the puzzle. I'm trying to make sure that I avoid these red tiles because I don't want it to mess up the puzzle for me. And I should be able to activate this device and put the life into something. Okay, now if I click on the device, I can release the soul.
You trigger the device. It sparks, and a familiar form suddenly materializes. The soul vanishes just as abruptly as it appeared, but then your soulless Worforged companion falls to her knees. Perhaps you should make sure she's doing all right.
Well, I just put a soul into this body. It's Isabet's soul.
Lucien Vaunt punished Isabet by using her as a test subject in an experiment, leaving her soul trapped inside this Vaunt device. Releasing her soul has given her a new body, but you doubt that the real Doris will be happy with this news.
Once we've completed this room, we can finally pull the switch and we can move on. Right now we've got Doris's body with Isabet's soul in it. Once we've completed this lab, so now I can get back to the intersection. Now we can go to the top floor, the place that crosses over this bottom passageway. Go up the stairs. As you can see, that purple switch has been pulled.
You walk in on a gruesome scene. An elf with an unsettling smile stretched across his lined face stands behind a modified Vaunt device, surrounded by the mangled bodies of his experiments. This man doesn't seem surprised to see you. This must be the one they call the Stitcher, the former head of Fathom Endeavors. The crazed inventor begins to weep as he concludes his speech. And yet he remains smiling as he activates the Soul Splitter and collapses before you.
So here we've got ourselves a boss fight, or a mini boss fight. We got these 3 big bosses to fight and, well, trash that spawns in.
The Manticore doubles over in pain. So this vessel has failed me. No matter, there are always more bodies. He cackles and triggers his device again.
It's funny that the voice clip for killing the Manticore spawns, or activates, even before you kill him. Manticore falls. He didn't fall yet. He was still alive.
The last of the Stitcher's vessels falls to the floor as his soul is finally snuffed out. His face remains frozen in a macabre grin.
Yeah, that's it. Clearing out this room, and we have another switch. Now we've pulled the purple and the green switches. And now we should have access to upstairs, to the way into the central laboratory. Laboratory, whatever. That's it. That was optional, underground. Then we did the top floor. Now I can get out of here. As you can see, the purple and the green are now active, so now we can pull this switch and get out of here.
You encounter a small nook where you can rest before riding the elevator up to the central laboratory and whatever waits inside. Once you proceed to the central laboratory, you will be unable to leave until the quest completes.
Just making sure that the voice clips didn't overlap so you can hear both of them, didn't cut each other out. Also, for last time, I'm going to be using a shrine, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you. Well, we've made it to the central lab.
You step out of the elevator and into the central laboratory. You see a giant glass enclosure filled with the souls of countless soul-split Worforged. A figure stands triumphantly atop the glass.
You arrive at last. What took you so long? I finished building your present ages ago.
Come, she continues. I'm so excited for you to meet my latest effort.
And to think those kind of fools abandoned her frame on the riverbed.
A colossal figure rises from the dirt.
I would like you to meet Eve.
The welder cackles.
Isn't she beautiful? I salvaged her and made her my perfect servant. A destroyer of worlds.
Volcana's voice reaches you from her perch high above.
Now, where's the rush? I think my dogs could use some playtime.
Packs of hounds and iron defenders stream in. The Warforged Titan's movements grind to a halt. The welder screeches in horror at the sight of her ruined masterpiece. The welder draws back, out of breath.
This fight is getting a bit unrefined. I think it's time to let my art speak for itself.
The welder looks around in confusion when her security force fails to arrive.
What have you done with my guards?
She asks.
No matter. I don't need them to squash a pest like you.
Dr. Volcana shudders as you land the killing blow. With a last mad laugh, the artificer's life drains away. With the welder and her creation out of the way, all that remains is releasing the Warforged souls.
And this tank underneath is full of Warforged souls. Here again, we've got a big soul splitter device.
You put down the last note, at last able to piece together the story of Fathom and its two warring inventors.
This is going to be our exit out of here. And this is where we came in. Okay, let's do it. Oh, yeah. This is the door that... This is where we were on the other side of this door before. This sign just reminds you what you're supposed to do, like which color does what, in case you forgot. Again, like I said before, blue is sucking life out of things and yellow is beaming it into them. Okay, we want to turn on the machine, but this valve is locked. To turn this valve on, we first have to activate the two valves that are next to it. And to turn on those two valves to activate, we first have to power them by using the puzzle. So, just for a reference, I'll show you what the red switch to what the red tiles do. As you can see, it messes up the puzzle and it sends out a bunch of these sentinels. So try to avoid getting the red tiles touched. They can really set you back and waste a lot of time. I recommend just setting up the puzzle before you start in such a way that nothing is connecting to the red tiles, and that way you can't mix up. Also, if you're not sure about the path, just start from the end. It kind of forces its way. There's not really many options. Also, in the method I'll be showing, we're going to have to go back and forth between the blue and yellow, and this path should be the least amount of back and forth. So once you've set it up, everything's okay. Here we've got the blue and yellow set up, and it either goes this way or it goes where you would change this direction and it would cross through. First we're going to set up the blue though. Here, it's very important to make sure that nothing's connecting into that red. So you can see this connects into that four-way red and it's going to activate it. So again, trying to make sure that by no means is it connected. That's why, and this way it's fully disconnected from the red. Now we can activate it. There we go, we've got the blue on one side. Now we'll do the blue on the other side. Again, we're going to set up the same way. We're going to start from the end. Basically, we're going to force the way it needs to go. Also, Doris is kind of in the way. Doris's body is a bit soul in it. Yeah, so you stay here. Again, where was I? Here. Well, I know the light needs to come from the bottom. So this has to turn and come around this way. Now we've got the yellow set up. Now we just have to set up the blue. Also, you can walk over that gap as you just saw a minute ago. You don't actually have to keep on jumping from side to side. If you're moving fast enough, you won't fall between them. I know this has to go right from here. No, this is wrong, sorry. I don't know, I got distracted or something here. Starting from the top. Sorry, I'll go from the bottom, I guess. Yeah, well, I guess it has to go up then. Yeah, my bad. This goes up and then it goes through here. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, this is how the blue connects, and this one bend will determine if it goes to the yellow or to the blue. The rest of the puzzle should be easy. Again, just avoid making any contact with the red. You don't want the red to be connected any kind of way, and if it does, it will mess up your puzzle immediately. Instant regret. Having your puzzle messed up, I think, is maybe even more punishing than having to fight a whole bunch of monsters or having a trap go off. Especially with a gigantic puzzle like this. Make one mistake and you have to redo the whole thing. Well, at least part of it. Fine. Here we've got both blue crystals activated. Now we can unlock the blue side. That's it. Blue is unlocked. Now we're just going to do one tile on each side. This will change it to yellow. As you can see, spending the time at the beginning is going to save you a lot of time later. And you need to use this puzzle multiple times, back and forth and back and forth. Okay. Now we can activate yellow. And that will unlock the central valve and activate the machine. Once we unlock the central valve, we don't need to touch it anymore.
You turn the last valve. The welder's voice echoes through the room.
Initializing mass soul extraction.
all souls will be released from the repository. Souls flash around you as they burst from their confinement and venture out in search of the bodies they once called home. A moment passes, and you hear a familiar voice from a corner of the laboratory. Is that Doris? Her voice seems to be coming from an iron defender.
Well, we found Doris's soul, but she's not happy.
Calling Doris unhappy with her current vessel would be an understatement, but Isabet's soul has nowhere else to go. You'll have to find Doris's soul a better body to call home, and you think you know just the thing.
Well, before it was set to yellow, and that's how we got the souls out of the tank in the middle and put them into that iron defender's body. Well, now you have to undo that. So first we're going to set it to blue. As I mentioned before, this thing doesn't work anymore. This valve is only a one-time use. Now when we need to touch this container. Well, we take the soul back out, and we're going to put it into something else. So again, we have to change it back to yellow. Luckily for us, that means only one tile on each side, so not too problematic. And there we go, we're going to activate the machine again.
The inert body of Eve roars to life, reinvigorated by Doris's soul. Your Worforged friend lets out a rumble of satisfaction. Now everyone is happy as can be, given the circumstances. The laboratory suddenly begins to quake and its lights dim. The dead inventor's voice echoes through the lab.
The soul repository has been emptied. Without an adequate power source, the facility will power down.
The welder's message rouses Doris to action. She tells you to smash everything in the lab that you can. If Volcana's research isn't destroyed now, eventually someone will surely find another, even worse use for it.
There's these 4 pipes and also these 4 glass panels you need to break.
There's a distant rumble, and suddenly the Lord of Blade shatters into the room. He and Doris continue their destructive rampage as the underwater lab begins to flood. It's time to get out of their way.
The way out is you pull this security lever, and it gives us a dimension door. And if you stay here too long, this place gets full with water. Not that that's a problem.
The dimension door brings you to a sitting room high up in one of Sean's towers. To your surprise, you are greeted by the head of the ore room himself, Calfen Riak.
This guy's a real villain because he has a cat, or whatever that is, on his lap. That's how you can tell.
You turn away from the High Priest. No matter what he claims, you know in your heart that this time you've won. No more games. From now on, you're coming for the ore room, and Calfen Riak's intrigues won't stand in your way.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this full cinematic experience. I did my best to show all the different little cutscenes and little different things, and I hope the whole soul splitter mechanism made sense. What the blue and what the yellow does, and what you need to do in what order, etc. Also, where you need to go. I know I did the whole thing, but of course, if you want to do this really quickly, all you really need to do is run down, get the date, go to the lab assistant's location, get the code out of him, go downstairs, and that's it. You should be done. Well, as always, if you've benefited from this guide, or if you've enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in a different video. Bye.